Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Trent. This is Rams Talk, coming at you right before the most pivotal game of our lives, the Rams 49ers NFC Championship game this Sunday. I'm nervous. I am excited. I am scared. I am excited. There are a lot of emotions going into this one, and I'll be honest with everybody out there. After the Week 18 matchup, I was like, the wind was out of my sails for like 2 or 3 days. Like I was like, playoffs, I don't even care. That was such a gut punch. But anyways, it's good to be back. It's good to be talking Rams. I took some time off, had a lot of stuff to deal with. Everything is fine. Everything is good. But I could not be silent for the most important game of the year. Yes, the Arizona game was important. Yes, the Tampa Bay game was important. But I go back. I was original Los Angeles Rams fan when they were in Los Angeles. Stayed with them through St. Louis, back to LA. And during that entire time, the 49ers have always been our nemesis. The 49ers have, during my lifetime, have owned us for the most part. And so, you go back to 2018, our Super Bowl year. That's the last time we beat the 49ers, and that's kind of nuts. What were you doing in 2018? So speaking of numbers, the Rams or the 49ers lead the all-time series 75-67-3. So, just 6 games ago, they were up on us by 2 games. They had 69 wins to our 67, and they just really distanced themselves. So this is also just an opportunity to square one away in the all-time rivalry against the 49ers. I hate the 49ers. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I hate the 49ers more than any team in football. I hate the San Francisco Giants more than any team in baseball, and that's how it is. That's how you roll. And if you're like a Dodgers fan and a Niners fan, you're probably someone who grew up in Los Angeles when there wasn't a football team here. And I'm just going to tell you, unacceptable. If you are not from San Francisco, but you still chose them as your team, you should have your Los Angeles sports team's card revoked. Unacceptable. Okay? It is unacceptable under any circumstances. And if you're new to being a Rams fan, from when they came back and you don't understand the rivalry, the 49ers are the team you hate the most. If anyone says that Seattle is the Rams' biggest nemesis, they are wrong. It is the 49ers. Now, I want to take a minute and shout out to everyone on Twitter. I've been more active on Twitter. You can find me at Real LA Rams Talk there. And for all the new subscribers or followers, thank you so much. And this is welcome to the Rams Talk train here. And I have to say, shout out to Rams Twitter. Rams Twitter, if you're not on Twitter, if you're watching this, you're a Rams fan, you're not on Twitter, get an account, go on there, start checking it out, because that's where all the day-to-day messages and discourse happen. And Kelly Stafford, Les Need's wife, buying tickets for Rams fans who can't afford to go, basically to ensure that there are more Rams fans at this game than there were at the Week 18 game, which, I get, but still unacceptable. So hopefully Rams fans can show up in force and really 80-20, being realistic, 80% Rams fans, 20% San Francisco fans, and really make it a home field advantage. Now, as we get into this weekend, the 49ers have owned the Rams. There's no doubt about that of late. But I feel like if you want a storybook ending, this is the storybook ending for the Rams. And it reminds me of when the Red Sox finally overcame the Yankees and won the first World Series in 2004. They were down in the ALCS 3-1, I believe, or 3-0 and against the Yankees, who had beat them the last year on a walk-off home run in Game 7 to go to the World Series. And I thought at the time, if the Red Sox are ever going to get this monkey off their back and beat their rivals and break the curse of the Bambino and go to the World Series, it has to be this way. It has to be through the Yankees. It has to be through 4 consecutive wins in the ALCS. It's improbable, but this is how it has to happen. And I feel right now, this is how it has to happen. Week 18, the Rams had that game. That was a win that the Rams gave to the 49ers. Say what you will, the second half momentum change, but the final drive, no timeouts, length of the field touchdown for the 49ers is just it's insane that kind of stuff doesn't happen. Jordan Fuller and Rapp were injured before that. So it's like, I kind of understand maybe why the defense broke down. That's why they signed Eric Weddle. So without further ado, let's just get into this game. That was a pretty long preamble, but an injury report. This is basically Thursday's injury report. It seems like Whitworth is on track to play. Rapp is limited, but potentially will suit up in this game. Tutu Atwell, still no sign of him. So I know that was a key piece for this game, but I don't think he's going to play. Joseph Noteboom, who actually is one of the most underrated guys. Last week against Tampa Bay, we heard about Tristan Wirfs. Everything was Tristan Wirfs. Oh, because he's out, that's why Brady's getting sacked so much and so many pressures. Yeah, we had our left tackle out for that game and didn't skip a beat. And that just really plays into and I'm going to have another video on this, a rant about the mainstream media, sports media's, I guess, position or lazy take on that the Rams are a top-heavy team. No, when your backup left tackle comes in against Jason Pierre-Paul and doesn't give up any pressure, then I don't think you're a top-heavy team. I think you are a deep, well-built team. You don't have your starting 2 safeties, no talk of that. We were out 5 starters in that game, and we still won. So, but into this game, still no word really on Henderson and Sebastian Joseph Deyo. I think they were close to being activated, but I don't think they'll be activated for this game. But the big one for me is Ernest Jones. Now, Ernest Jones, based on what happened in Week 18, if he can play, he can man the middle of the field and help out against the run and in coverage. And, that's what the 49ers were attacking. If Ernest Jones could be fully healthy in this game, I mean, probably not fully healthy, but if he was, then that is a major, major boost. And I think that's one of the keys of this game. If Ernest Jones can play and be effective, then that's amazing. That will really make me feel a lot better about this game. On the other side of the ball, Trent Williams hasn't practiced, and he didn't play in the Week 18 game, and it didn't really matter. The 49ers still ran the ball for 135 yards. So I feel like, obviously, if Trent Williams can't go, that benefits the Rams, but it didn't seem to be such of a major concern. They were not getting beat at left tackle that repeatedly in the Week 18 matchup. Elijah Mitchell was limited, but he should go. But basically, those are the things happening there. Now, my 3 keys to this game, or 4 keys to this game, and this, most of them, but it's number 1, be physical, because the 49ers will be physical. So the Rams need to come out and show it. They need to tackle on defense. They need to protect the middle of the field. And when I say physical, they need to be physical on their offensive line as well. They need to get push in the running game. And they need to protect the second level on defense. Those are my 4 keys to this game. So let's just start with us on offense, the Rams on offense. And what I'm really looking at is, like I said, O-line, right? So our offensive line has been really good in terms of pass protection throughout the whole season. In fact, the Rams offensive line is, let's see, I have it here. Oh no, they're first in pass rush win rate, and they're 4th in pressure rate. However, the 49ers were getting a lot of pressure while only rushing 4 players the majority of the time in Week 18, and that's been their secret sauce. It's like what the Rams do on defense. If you can only rush 4 players and let everyone drop back into coverage, then you're playing with house money. And the fact that the 49ers have been getting pressure, and I get it with Nick Bosa, I get it with Eric Armstead, but like Arden Key, I mean, maybe he just found it. Maybe he finally just tapped into it. Maybe it's the coaching for the 49ers that unlocked his potential. And he was, highly sought after coming into the draft, but didn't really find a home until now. And then Samson Ebukam, what the heck? Samson Ebukam? If you're letting Samson Ebukam and Arden Key really bring the pressure consistently, then that's a problem. I'm just going to say this. I like Samson Ebukam, but we know this, So the Rams offensive line needs to, especially in pass protection, they need to hold up. I know Bosa and Armstead are going to bring it, but with the other guys, you really got to win your matchups one-on-one with those 2 other guys, and then, maybe you slide a double over for Bosa or Armstead and help in that way. Now, because they don't really like to blitz, but we really have to hold up on their 4-man rush, and they brought against Matthew Stafford, I think it was last game, week 18, or maybe it was collectively in both matchups, they brought a 48.6% pressure rate. That's the highest that Stafford has faced all season. So they have to mitigate that, right? They have to keep the pressure off Stafford. And the fact that they've only been doing that with four guys and it's been the highest pressure rate all season is saying a lot. Now, in the run game, what I noticed when looking at that game, especially in week 18, it's more fresh for me. But, the Rams were, the offensive linemen, after the ball was snapped, were trying to reach the second level and block the linebackers in that second level, but they weren't getting there in time. The linebackers for the 49ers, and the two key players for the 49ers, in my opinion, on defense, it's Fred Warner. That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. On offense, it's Debo. Shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. But Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw really set the tone. I mean, they are extremely physical. They're extremely fast. And essentially what they're doing is reading the play and reacting quicker than the Rams offensive linemen can get to them, right? So they're already shooting in there. And you look at the Rams offensive linemen that are climbing to the second tier are just standing up there. And the play has happened behind them. And they're standing there with nobody, they're blocking nobody. So I think the Rams need to really be more disciplined and quick. Their offensive linemen, when they're shooting in the second level, they need to put hands on guys. They need to give their running back at least a chance. And then, if they're staying behind, if they're doing power blocking, then they need to impose their will. So that to me has been, the fact you look at the running statistics for the Rams over the last two games against the 49ers. In week 10, they ran the ball for 52 yards, 3.5 average. And in week 18, 64 yards for a 3.4 yard average. So that's 106 yards rushing in 116 yards rushing in two games. The 49ers ran the ball for 135 yards and 156 yards. So it's like the 49ers have no problem slicing through the Rams defense, but the Rams offense, rush attack can't slice through. Now, the difference is in this game, Cam Akers is basically fully back. In week 18, it was his first game back and his reps were limited. So this is his first game back. Maybe you put Sony in there. I remember in that game, they were at the beginning of the game, they were really going for possession, ball control. They had jumbo packages. So they were putting extra offensive linemen out there. And it still wasn't working. That's the thing. It still wasn't working. So in terms of how the Rams attack the linebackers for the 49ers, especially in the run game, is going to be very interesting and a key in terms of scheme and coaching and execution for Sean McVay and the offensive line. So that's the offensive line. We know the trend. The Rams just got beat up in the trenches in the last couple of games, last couple of years, actually. So, they just got to bring it. That AD's bringing it. That Jalen's bringing it. They're all bringing it, but I just got to see that passion. If Ernest Jones is in, that's a world of difference now. A big to-do has been made about Matthew Stafford and his interceptions. And, he's had 4 interceptions in these regular season games. One of them was off of Higbee's hands, so I don't really put that on him. One was a pick six. One was the deep one in overtime, and one was another deep one, which I'm just going to say this, that if Matthew Stafford's going to throw deep, overthrow the ball. I feel like so many of his interceptions on deep passes have been underthrows, right? And just air it out. If it's uncatchable, it's uncatchable. But I rarely feel like I've seen him lead the receiver on the interceptions. It's all been underthrows. So just air it out, make it so no one can catch it, or just let your guy run underneath it. And I think what I'd like to see what the Rams do with these linebackers and just in general, I like to see more play action, and I'd like to see more motion before the snap. I want to see some more jet sweeps. I want to see some, even if they're faking the jet sweeps, but you got to run a couple jet sweeps to make them honor the fake jet sweeps. And, I remember a play last year to Odell Beckham Jr., I think it was last year, or right before he got injured, where I think he took a jet sweep or he got the ball in the backfield and he ran it around. And I try Odell on a jet sweep. Try mix it up. Give him let the Niners see something for the first time. And maybe it's all culminating this. I'm sure there are plays in Sean McVay's bag of tricks that he's never called. I think I saw somewhere in both matchups against the 49ers, OBJ's had 18 yards in each game. And I think, Cooper Kupp has feasted in his last couple matchups against the 49ers, over 200 yards. But the Rams still lost. So, and that's going to be my point also with Jimmy G is, everyone talks about how terrible Jimmy G is and he throws interception. He's like the worst quarterback still in the playoffs. But the Niners win despite Jimmy G, right? They win despite Cooper Kupp having big games. So what are these missing elements to the Rams on offense and defense that can be the difference? And I mean, obviously they should have won the last game, so this isn't this isn't like a big thing that they have to do. But I think, get Odell Beckham Jr. more involved in this game. I want to see, honestly, Cam Akers out of the backfield as a pressure valve release for Matthew Stafford. Higbee played well in the last game. Van Jefferson, really spread the ball out. And also when the Rams are getting stopped continually on rushing plays, throw the short pass, throw the 5-yard completion. It's like if you complete a 5-yard pass, that's a high probability throw and catch. Okay, if you're playing, the Niners play primarily zone. They get torched when they're in man. In fact, I have it here. I did have it here somewhere about the zone situation. Oh yeah, San Francisco is 68.6% in zone versus Rams this year. And in zone, Stafford has thrown four interceptions. But they're 31st in EPA when in man. So, and Stafford is 12 for 14, 164 yards and 3 touchdowns against the 49ers when they put man out there. And they play man because their secondary isn't great, but they play well individually, but they play well together and in zone. But if they're giving the Rams a cushion, just throw the 5-yard pass, throw the 6-yard pass, get those completions. Those count as, if it's first down and the Rams get 5 or 6 yards, then you're in a great second down position. So I have no problem if the Rams throw the ball more, but it's high efficiency and probability throws and catches. Like go back to that final drive that the Rams had where they ran it 3 times with Sony or Cam, and it was just no gain, no gain, no gain. If one of those passes was a 5 or 6 yarder, that changes the complexion of that drive in that series. It keeps the clock rolling. So, if they're playing off and it's soft coverage, then do it. Then just pass it. So I think it's really interesting to see which Matthew Stafford shows up. He's been great thus far in the playoffs, and I'm hoping that he can continue it, kind of like a man on a mission. I feel like the Rams are on a mission now, and I'm just hopeful. There's nothing about this that would say the Rams should win because they haven't. Every time you've said the Rams should win, they lose. But I feel like it's a culmination of everything, and it's just going to be a game of chess between the two teams. It's really going to be interesting. So, also though, when it comes to Cooper Kupp, one thing I've noticed is in games where the Rams fall behind or they're having difficulty or they lose, it seems like they wait forever to get Cooper Kupp involved. It's like there will be a quarter and a half that goes by where he doesn't get a target. And you're kind of like, come on, he can, even if he catches a short yardage pass or you sling it to him, wide receiver screen, anything like that, he'll get the yak. So you just need to get Cooper Kupp involved as well. So basically, Sean McVay, if you're listening, just do everything. Just do everything. Because, you throw it to every single person, block every single defender. And but I think if the Rams can get the ball out fast, if they can mix it up, play action, jet sweeps, give them all kinds of looks and be physical and win the line of scrimmage, then that's really all it's going to be. If the Rams get collectively 100 yards in rushing, they win this game. Okay? Because that means they've ripped off a couple. And if they can soften up the 49ers defense, the run defense a little bit, then it'll make, maybe they're playing more man now, putting more guys in the box. So yeah, zero turnovers for Stafford. That's also the key. Now when the Rams are on defense, like our front is awesome. And what I love about Von Miller, it's not just the flashy, the pressures and the sacks and the QB hits and tackles. It's the tackles for losses. Because a lot of times that's not just the quarterback, that's running back. Von Miller is very, very effective in the run game. And I'm hoping that the difference between week 18 and essentially week 21 right now is just more cohesion, more between the entire defensive line. He's on board. It's same with Odell Beckham Jr. The playbook is just there a little bit more for them and integrated. So Von Miller, great in the run game. Leonard Floyd is great in the run game. The problem against the 49ers hasn't been the Rams front. The Rams front has been great, and they've been feasting. They're awesome, right? The problem against San Francisco is our second level. So whereas the 49ers excel with their second level, especially just like the second level, not so much the third level, but the linebackers on that area of the field they excel because of Greenlaw and Warner, whereas the Rams have Reeder and Trayvon Howard. And, they've been solid players for us. But if you're the 49ers and you're looking at the Rams defense, who are you targeting? And they targeted Troy Reeder last game. And you saw how the beginning of the game, the first half, they were trying to run the ball up the gut, and the Rams weren't having it, and they were stopping them. Okay? So they pivoted, and they were stretching it out, and they were getting the running back in space. They were putting out 2 tight ends, and they had Juszczyk in there. So essentially they would have 8 blockers. So 5 people on the offensive line, 2 tight ends, and a fullback. And, then you have Jimmy G, the running back, and a receiver. So you had 9 guys there, 8 guys blocking, and they're getting to the level of Troy Reeder, of Taylor Rapp, of Trayvon Howard, of it's going to be Weddle, Burgess, Nick Scott, Darius Williams, Dante Dion, like those guys. All of this game defensively for the Rams is going to be won by those guys. Okay, because we know what Aaron Donald, we know what Von Miller and Leonard Floyd can do, but it's everyone behind them. Jalen Ramsey can only do so much. And if they put Jalen Ramsey even said that game planning for Deebo Samuel is like a game plan within a game plan, which I'm sure other teams do with Jalen Ramsey and or Aaron Donald. But what do you do with Deebo? Deebo's he runs for touchdowns, he catches touchdowns, he throws touchdowns. And the stat I have here on Deebo is in the last game when they lined him up in the backfield 14 times, he carried it 8 times. So if you put Jalen Ramsey on him, then Brandon Ayuk or George Kittle are going to be running free. So Darius Williams is going to have to come up big there as well. But Deebo Samuel does it all, and I think when he lines up in the backfield, he will get the handoff more times than not. And so it just comes down to the Rams plugging up those holes, making the right defensive reads, and that's why Ernest Jones, I feel, is so integral to this. And so essentially what happened last game was the Rams came into it. They usually play a 2-high safety shell. And in week 10, the 49ers were just taking everything and marching down the field, taking all that underneath stuff, the soft coverage stuff. Last game, week 18, they switched to a 1-high safety, bringing another guy down in the box, and basically creating a 6-man front, which is what the Patriots did to the Rams in the Super Bowl. And they were getting nowhere. They were getting nowhere with it. So then Shanahan adjusted to that, and the Rams couldn't adjust to that. So there are the game plans that the Rams and the 49ers will come in with, and who adjusts to the adjustments, and it's just like this counter game the entire game, and so the Rams just couldn't do that. And the 49ers are predictable, like what they're going to do. They run the ball 73% of the time on early downs against the Rams this year. So they're going to run. Like I said, they run the ball. They rush for 135 and 156 yards the last couple games. Jimmy G had a good game in the week 10. And the last game, not so much. But the middle of the field is where Jimmy G loves to operate, and the running game. That's it. If the Rams can tackle, if they can diagnose the play, if they can adjust, then I'm not gonna feel too bad about it. Now the Rams have blitzed a lot in the playoffs. So we'll see how that pans out. But I feel like the Rams are going to go with their one high safety, bring an extra person in the box, go with a 6-man front. And then what is going to be their game plan if the 49ers try these stretch run plays, the pitch and toss run plays? That's going to be the big question. Have the Rams solved that? Are they practicing for that? What is their answer for that? Because if they don't have an answer, it's going to be a long game of the 49ers gashing them on the ground. So guys got to step up. Now, the one last thing I'm going to talk about is special teams, because the Rams apparently ended the season 4th in special teams DVOA, which seems like a typo to me. But, I mean, they've been the playoffs in the last couple of weeks of the season. They've been on fire since Brandon Powell came into the mix. Not only has he been the returner we've been looking for, and I mean, he's doing a great job, but, I mean, the coverage team, so, Skowronek and the Gunners, and, they're downing the ball. I mean, Hecker's been punting a lot better, but also the blocking on the coverage team for Brandon Powell has been top notch. So, the 49ers special teams have been okay. They came up really big last week. Robbie Gould is awesome. So I think Robbie Gould and Matt Gay are kind of a wash. I liked Robbie Gould a lot better when he was on the Bears. So, shout out to Coach Joe D for really bringing this and turning the special teams unit around, because in this game especially, there can't be any glaring weakness like there was in the first, 13, 14 weeks of the season. So yeah, I mean, I think we all know the deal. It's just like Olivia Newton-John said, or who's the pop singer said, let's get physical. Like, just the Rams got to bring it. They got to bring it. They got to maul these guys, make it a dogfight. And if Trent Williams can't go, really take advantage of that, protect the middle of the field, tackle, and really get to those linebackers for the 49ers. But tackle. So anyways, that's it. That's my long half-hour ramble here. But I miss you all. Thank you so much if you made it to the end of this. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Tell me what you think about this game, what the keys of this game are. If you're going to this game, I'm sure you're going to represent. One other quick note. I was in Los Angeles over the holidays when they weren't playing, when they were on the road against Baltimore and Minnesota, so I couldn't see a game at SoFi, but I still went to to SoFi Stadium and to the team store there. And just a quick note, and that's where I got the Sweet Baby. Try, if you're going to SoFi and you want to buy something at the store, try it on before you leave. The sizes are out of whack. A large is a medium. An extra large is a large. An extra large is a double XL. It's like they're all over the place. I usually wear a large. This is an XL. I got a large and it was like a medium of a shirt. So anyways, that's just a note. Try things on and represent. I know you guys will. The Rams family has been amazing. I really feel like the team is growing and the fan base is really growing, and it's an awesome part to be a part of. So follow me on Twitter. Get into Rams Twitter. You'll meet a lot of other like-minded, awesome fans. And yeah, I might have a pre-game live stream, seeing that this is going to be later in the evening for me. So I'll keep you informed on that. But thanks for watching, and it's good to be back. And as always, go Rams. See if I can get this one. Oh man, not a good omen. Not a good omen.